This is a protest, not some cute Instagram post. Come here to listen, not to get content. Come here to learn, not to be trendy. Come here to fight for what's right, because if you're white, well, this is your time to take a back seat. This is your time to absorb, to stand in solidarity. Thoughts and prayers just won't do it here. Performative activism has no place here. It's time to do the work. It's time to practice what's being preached. You must be actively anti-racist. You must shout with your whole voice. Black lives matter. Black lives matter today. Black lives matter tomorrow. Black lives always matter. This is a protest. Good evening, everyone. So my name is Chris Regent, and I am an actor that currently resides in New York. And on behalf of all of my fellow performers and all the people that are here to watch and express themselves creatively, we want to thank you. And we want to continue and encourage you to get involved with the community, as it is imperative to help end social injustice. I encourage you, those who are able to donate to Breonna Taylor and her family. The link can be found in the description below. Even if it's $1, every bit counts. Even if you can't donate, please take the moment to still go into the description, and you will see that there are petitions that are available to be signed. Your voice and your actions are just as important and appreciated. Up next, I want to introduce Carmi Harris.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, traces from the darkness of the night, stars of my ancestors still shining bright, as I lift my voice and sing, and my heart to fight. Ancestors weren't officially free until June 19th, the last state accepted it to be, but still expected to be fearful by a system run by dark-hearted officials. This system that has kept my sisters and brothers working in separation for not even a percentage of reparation. Yet, I hold pride in my culture and uplift my community. I educate those even my age as my responsibility. They see a Black person up close and experience alchemy. Of the melanin magic that flows from me, the sun will stand still for my people. As we continue to heal from an undying hope raised high like a steeple. Thanks to the ancestors, angels, and light of God, I am blessed, as they have guided me to purpose, health, and success. Although my homeland feels like a cave, I'm thankful to know how to love all born in and out of the land of the brave. Praying we'll all someday truly be free, enjoying equality as the only shadow of unity. Until earth and heaven ring with harmonies of liberty, let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Hello, I'm Carmi Harris, and that was a piece I wrote titled Dear Us, in all caps, like US. The next piece I'm going to sing is a Negro spiritual titled Motherless Child, inspired by Odetta. Odetta is a lesser known Black folk artist. She was a guitarist and a vocalist. Odetta was very monumental to the civil rights movement in the 1960s. She isn't heard as often in a popular sense as other artists who were activists such as Nina Simone, Harry Belafonte, Aretha Franklin, and etc. But her music was influential to white artists of that time as well, such as Bob Dylan and Janis Joplin. In 1960, she performed and recorded Motherless Child at Carnegie Hall. Motherless Child is a Negro spiritual. Spirituals were sung by slaves. Some were songs. Some spirituals were sung as codes of communication, and others were just form of expression, such as this song that speaks to both Black children being sold as slaves from their mothers during slavery at a very young age, very similarly to how the slaves were torn from the motherland, Africa. While it's the song of grief, there is a message of hope to rediscover, reconcile, and heal that sense of self and belonging and respect for our people. So, sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long ways from home. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost done. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost done. Sometimes I feel like I'm almost done. A long ways from home. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. Sometimes I feel like a motherless child. A long ways from home. A long ways from home. And now I will introduce Clarence C. Williams.
C. R. Patterson. Do you know his story? I bet you know Henry Ford's, though. C. R. Patterson and Sons may not be a name many know, but it was the first and only African-American owned car company. Charles Richard Patterson was born enslaved in 1833. He lived on a Virginia plantation. 28 years later, Charles escaped the plantation. He escaped with massive dreams in his mind and the courage to pursue them. He traveled to Greenfield, Ohio to begin his new life. In 1873, he partnered with carriage manufacturer J.P. Lowe. They successfully created a business of manufacturing horse carriages. Charles saved up his money and proceeded to then buy out Lowe's share of the business and rename the company as C.R. Patterson and Sons in 1893 with his oldest son, Frederick. C.R. Patterson was the owner. He took care of his business. In 1910, he died, and his son, Frederick, continued his legacy. His son switched the business to creating automobiles. Frederick introduced the Patterson Greenfield automobile in 1915. A single car sold for $685 and competed with Ford's Model T. Since they were a smaller company, C.R. Patterson and Sons couldn't keep up with Ford and had to shut their doors down for good after the Great Depression. This is a story of a multi-generational success. A father working to provide and a son carrying out his legacy. This is a story of knowledge and perseverance. This is the story of C.R. and Frederick Patterson. One buggy they made remains in the Greenfield Historical Society, but their story deserves a place in our history books. Their story deserves to be told. I would now like to introduce the wonderful and talented Jade Littler.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to start by talking about this clip I'm about to show you of me singing Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. This song was written by Marvin Gaye in fall of 1970. It was released in January of 1971. These words are still relevant now. This has been an ongoing journey for Black people in America. And it's not perfect, but I was moved by this song, and I was moved by how it so directly reflects what is happening today. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I realized that there's no sound. There should be sound now. Enjoy. Mother, there's too many of
of you crying. Brother, 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 there's too many of you dying. You know we got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Oh, Father, Father, we don't need to escalate. War is not the answer, for only love can conquer hate. You know we've got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Picket lines and picket signs, don't punish me with brutality. Talk to me so you can see, oh, what's going on? Yeah, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, what's going on? Oh, oh.
Thank you for your patience, everyone. I'm so sorry that the video wasn't on for that. I would like to start by saying, before I begin my monologue, that my father informed me many years ago, and I was just having a conversation with him recently on this, that my lineage is connected to Thomas Jefferson. In this monologue that I'm about to share with you, it is talking about Sally Hemmings, who the history books describe as Thomas Jefferson's girlfriend or his mistress, when that is not true. Thomas Jefferson took advantage of several enslaved Black women throughout the course of his life. And they used to call them Jefferson babies. And my family is connected to that. So I found this monologue to be very fitting, and I hope you all enjoy. Sally Hemmings. When you hear that name, many think of an enslaved woman that Thomas Jefferson had relations with. That's what the history books teach us. The entire story of one woman is summed up in a sentence in which the crux is a white man. The books also say that Sally was Thomas Jefferson's mistress. But it's language like that which causes revisionist history. Sally Hemmings was Jefferson's property. Sally Hemmings was sexually assaulted. Sally Hemmings was an extraordinary woman. She was 16 when she returned to slavery in Monticello, but she negotiated with her owner, Jefferson, to receive extraordinary privileges. One of these privileges was freedom for her unborn children. Her children were to become free people at the age of 21. In a world ravaged by racism and enslavement. Sally was never described in detail in any written records, so her physical appearance has been lost in time. The few things that are known about her looks praise that she looked like a white woman. She voyaged the treacherous Atlantic. She was only paid $2 a month for her services. 2 of her children died shortly after childbirth. Yet her legacy is defined by James Callender, a white man who exposed Jefferson for having an affair with her. It is well known that the man whom it delighted the people to honor keeps and for many years past has kept as his concubine one of his own slaves. Her name is Sally. Her name is Sally. Remember her name. Her name is Sally. She negotiated for freedom. Her name is Sally. She raised 4 children. Her name is Sally. She cannot be defined by a white man. She is defined by her own choices and actions. She is defined by her son, Madison, who kept her legacy alive after she died by having it written down. She is defined by her sacrifice for her children. Her name is Sally Hemmings. Now, I would like to turn it over to Binet Mecan.
Tati, I lived and died on a stage that had my name written on its platform long before the platform had a place to stand. I did not marry before I died. By my end, I felt as though I had been floating in nothing but uncalculated space. A feather waiting to drop. A dew waiting to drip off the edge of green leaves. I was always waiting. Singing the praises of hope that one day I would be free from this constant uncertainty of life. Always waiting. I say this to tell you never to wait. Never to live in that uncalculated space the way I had. Just live every day as it comes. So by the end of it, at least you can say you breathed. At least you can say you felt. And maybe, just maybe, you might be able to say the most treasured thing of all. You loved. Loved the air, loved the earth, loved the pain, loved the sadness, loved the joy, loved the what if. At least you can say you loved your fight to love. And if you can say that, by the end of your days, when the curtain draws a close on your stage, at least I can say I was the best mother that ever lived. Because in my absence, you still learned. Your mother. And now I would like to welcome Markis Blackwell.
I was born by the river in Littleton. Oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know change won't come. Oh, yes, it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me, boy, don't you hang around. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, then I go to my brother. I say, brother, help me, please. But he winds up knocking me down. Back down on my knees. Oh, there have been times that I thought would last for long, but now I know I'm able to carry on. It's been a long, long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes, it will. Sam Cooke, the man who wrote that song, was born in 1935. He gained fame from the gospel group, the Soul Stirrers, and he was a pioneer in fusing both pop and soul music, with The Change Is Gonna Come being his first pop and soul inspired fusion. He began a recording company in the 1960s, making him the first Black man to establish and own his own record label. He developed the careers of people like Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, Smokey Robinson, James Taylor, Billy Preston, Bobby Womack, and in 1986, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and a year later, in 1987, he was inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. His music is now part of the National Recording Registry of the Library of Congress. It makes me very happy to introduce our next performer, Coleman Thompson.
Sweet America, won't you be my sweet love for a lifetime? Yeah, I like that. I like that. Write that down. Black folks don't love that one. Oh my God, what are you doing here? I don't even have on pants. What am I doing? Well, I'm trying to write a new national anthem, you know, since seeing Burger King set on fire across the country have inspired us to uproot problematic figures out of our society and whatnot. Rightfully, of course. You're interrupting. For the record, I'm not against celebrating and honoring the place that we call home and that has allowed us to create a life for ourselves. I am just against the guy who created our favorite way of doing it, Francis Scott Key. Francis. The name Francis just sounds like a guy who says the N-word when their black friends aren't around. Anyway, you're here, so I may as well talk to you. So, it was alleged, well, it was known that Francis Scott Key was a slave owner, but back then slaves were like assholes. Everybody had one. What I don't think is very well known is that Francis Scott Key was also the District Attorney of America, who actively tried to prosecute someone simply for possessing documents advocating for the abolition of slavery. You don't believe me? Go look up U.S. versus Reuben Crandall. I'll give you the spark notes. The year was 1835. Reuben Crandall, a doctor working in Washington, D.C., was arrested and charged for, publishing malicious and wicked libels with the intent to excite sedition and insurrection amongst the slaves and the free colored people. So basically possession with the intent to distribute. Now it was alleged that those documents contained the words read and circulate in Crandall's own handwriting. However, it could never be proven that those documents were ever circulated. Now, Mr. Crandall was eventually acquitted because it's not a crime to believe that people are not property, but I guess it was to Francis, who also prosecuted Richard Lawrence for the attempted assassination of then President Andrew Jackson. So free and captive people equals attempted murder square. Doesn't add up, does it? So after reading all of that, the scene went exactly as you might expect. I looked slightly to the left of my computer screen. I stared for 2 seconds and I said, I'm going to cancel the national anthem. So here we are. Francis, that's y'all people. I wouldn't rather twerk to some city girls in the name of liberty. Come on, let's brainstorm. A great songwriter who can write a wonderful rockin' tune for us to hold our hats to. You guys can give me a name, I'll DM them on Instagram. I'll send them a letter on a carrier pigeon, see if they'll help me out. Oh, I have an idea. How about Alex Turner of the Arctic Monkeys? That man writes beautiful music. Wait, no. Alex is British, and they definitely tried to colonize us once upon a time. The optics would be terrible. No Alex Turner. But he writes such good music. And I guess you reap what you sow eventually. R. Kelly. No. Oh my God. Coleman, what is wrong with you? God. No. Not everything that comes to mind needs to come out of my mouth. That dude can write the Serbian national anthem. The country's only 14 years old. Does Ruben have like a great granddaughter? Does she have a bumble? Ah! All right, I admit it, I'm struggling. If any of you can help me come up with a non-problematic name or two that can help me with this, please, I'll have it. Well, I guess non-problematic is kind of hard because we all have stuff that we have to answer for. You know what? Forget that. Believe that. All transgressions do not matter. You know what? I'm going to sleep on it. Yeah, I'm going to sleep on it. And you should sleep on this. The next time you see a burger joint set on fire, or you see someone jumping on or kicking a police car. This is an alleged quote from one of those anti-slavery documents that Reuben Crandall was accused of disseminating. And I quote, "They must know that the current state of things cannot long continue. Mind is the same everywhere, no matter what may be the frame or the complexion of the frame which it animates. There is a love of liberty that the scourge cannot eradicate, a hatred of oppression which centuries of degradation cannot extinguish. The slave will become conscious, sooner or later, of his strength, his physical superiority, and he will exert it. The torch will be at the threshold, his knife at the throat of the planter. Horrible and indiscriminate will be the vengeance. Where then there will be the pride, the beauty, and the chivalry of the South. The smoke of her torment will rise upward like a thick cloud, visible over the whole earth." All right, Atlanta, for Forest Park, or Old Dixie Highway. I don't know. America, you got that yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh my God, that's perfect!
This is a protest.
On behalf of Drawing Cats Productions, thank you so much for coming out and watching this performance tonight, or in the future, if you're watching it in the future. Thank you so much to our performers, this lovely talent. Thank you for sharing your stories and your voices tonight. It means the world. Our People, Our Voices is going to continue on in many more performances and voices. If you want to speak, if you have a talent you want to share with us, send us an email at drawingcatsproductions@gmail.com. And if you want to see the rest of Our People, Our Voices, be sure to subscribe to our channel and follow us on Facebook and Instagram to see when new videos are being posted. Before you leave tonight, be sure to check out the description, click those links. If you can, donate to Breonna Taylor's family. If you can't, sign those petitions to get Black history taught in our schools. This is important work. Thank you so much. You have a great night and a great weekend.